Hey everybody, DeLong Shot Signatures here. As promised, this is going to be a video on the 2023 NHL draft prospects, the ones that I was able to get autographs of over the past couple of years, and discuss their rankings and potential draft positions for the ones that I did get back. Now, these are just the names that I could find on the NHL Central Scouting rankings, and then I used Daily Faceoff's top 150 draft board to sort the rankings and everything. I do have several players from years past that are technically draft eligible. Just because you don't get drafted your first year doesn't mean you're not eligible for subsequent drafts. But it's less likely that you get drafted as an overager. Most teams are going to be looking for 18 to 19-year-old prospects to add to their system, but there's always a few overagers that sneak in. So I don't remember exactly how many that I have, but we're going to start off with number 135, according to Daily Faceoff. He was part of the U.S. National Development Team program this year, and he is committed to Harvard. This is forward Ryan Fine. He scored 42 points as part of the development team program, which also plays in the United States Hockey League, USHL. They don't play as many games as the rest of the league, so I didn't include that for point totals. Then number 98 is a goaltender for the Seattle Thunderbirds. This is Scott Ratzlaff, something like that. He had a 25-8-0 record with a .918 save percentage and 5 shutouts. So a very impressive record. Obviously, was part of the World Juniors team, as you can see there in that photo. I don't think the WHL level of competition is as strong as some other leagues, so that could be why his ranking is so low for as impressive of a record as he had. Don't remember how big he is as a goaltender, but size is a really big thing, and it's very difficult to project out goaltenders in the long term. But being a top 100 prospect means that you should hopefully get drafted and will have a chance to develop for quite some time. Then, let's see, what order did I do this in? The number 86 prospect is a center for the Kamloops Blazers. This is Connor Levis. He had 67 points in 68 games as a third liner, which is really impressive no matter which league that you are in. The main knocks on him that drop him further down the prospect list is that he needs to work on his defense and skating. His skating is considered below average, so you're not going to be able to put up the same kind of offense if you aren't able to keep up. But he's still really young, has opportunity to improve on that. Then the number 51st ranked prospect is a right winger for the Prince George Cougars. This is Kane Ziemer. He had an impressive offensive season this past year with 89 points in 68 games. Similar to Levis, his skating is a concern, but considering how well rounded out his game is, if he is able to get that figured out over the next several years and he'll be given time, he's not going to be asked to be in the NHL tomorrow. He could be a potential second or third round steal for a team if he drops that far. Some team might take him late in the first round if they really feel confident about his abilities, but he will have to improve on skating. Then we have another goaltender here with the 44th ranked overall prospect. He is committed to the University of Massachusetts. This is Michael Hrabel. He was the goaltender for the Omaha Lancers in the USHL this season. Had a .913-4 record, which doesn't look that great, but had a .908 save percentage and 3 shutouts. .908 is pretty decent. You would be a below-average goaltender in the NHL, but for the USHL, where the scoring's pretty high, that's pretty decent, and I think his size is a factor that kind of helps boost him. I did see that the Hockey Guy projected him to be a late first-round pick. course, that's just his opinion. But his, again, goaltenders are so hard to project out into the future. So he could be a first rounder. Odds are he's probably going to be a mid to late second rounder if everything goes right for him. But he is one of the top North American goaltenders in this draft. Next one is the 31st ranked overall prospect. He is a defenseman for the London Knights. This is Oliver Bonk. Oliver had a plus 17 plus minus rating, more goals scored than the other team while on the ice. It's not a perfect metric for defensemen, but it can be in a small pool. And he had 40 points in 67 games. He helped London to the OHL finals with 11 points in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost in the finals, but he was a big part of the reason that they were even able to make it to it. Then the 29th overall prospect. This is a right winger who was traded from the Sherbrooke Phoenix to the Drummondville Voltigeurs. That's the QMJHL, so lots of French names in there. But this is Ethan Gauthier. He scored 69 points in 66 games. Maybe not as impressive as scouts were hoping for, just from a former first overall pick for the QMJHL draft. Sherbrooke obviously was a struggling team when they selected him first overall, and he did do very, very well for them and was traded for a haul of draft picks in the QMJHL. I think 3 firsts, a couple second, and then there was like a third round pick swap. CHL, whether it's any of the 3 leagues, those trades are just bonkers what teams are willing to give up for players. But you're not getting them for their entire career. You're getting them for just a year or two. And those draft picks may not even ever play for your team, even if they're a first rounder. So, yeah, they're willing to give up a lot of draft picks for some of these guys. It's pretty crazy to see. But he could be a potential first-round steal for a team that develops him correctly. I think he's a much better player than the ranking has him at. According to Daily Faceoff, the 24th ranked prospect, he is a center for the Moose Jaw Warriors. This is Braden Yeager. He scored 78 points in 67 games. He was a much better playmaker than he was a goal scorer. Pretty physical guy, but they have him projected to becoming a winger, just because his net front presence and defensive abilities aren't up to snuff for what you would need in the NHL. But if you put him at the winger position, he can still contribute as a playmaker pretty well and not have to be as defensively sound. Next is the 13th ranked prospect. He is a center for the Oshawa Generals. This is Callum Ritchie. He has been signing a ton of autographs recently, getting back to a lot of people. Mine took almost a year to get back, so it's nice to see him get back other people's requests right before the draft. He had 59 points in 59 games. He also scored 9 points at the World Juniors Tournament. He is a dependable two-way player, so while his scoring might not be as high as some of the other people ranked as high as him, he is much more defensively sound and an all-around really decent player. So teams are going to be happy to pick up a guy who they don't have to fill in any spots of his development. It's more so just about getting him stronger and getting him up to speed to playing at the NHL level, but his game is pretty sound all the way around. Then the very next prospect, ranked number 12, is a forward at UConn. This is Matthew Wood. He had 34 points in 35 games as a freshman in the NCAA. That's a big deal. A lot of freshmen don't even play their first season, so Wood was very, very good this year. Drafting a college player generally means that they will stick around at the college for at least one more season, if not 2 more. But that gives NHL teams the opportunity to bring in college player after the NCAA tournament, because then they can graduate and immediately go to the NHL, whereas players that are drafted out of the OHL have to wait until the season ends before they can join their NHL teams. So there's a little bit of a trade-off with drafting him, but no one expects him to go in his first year into the NHL. So it works out, and teams will be really looking to get him. Last one, and I could have swore I had another top 10 pick in the collection, but I guess a lot of the players that I wrote to that would have been that never got back to me. I thought I had gotten one more. But regardless, this is a super awesome one. I actually got 2 requests back from this guy. But the number 1 overall prospect in the 2023 NHL draft, consensus number 1 pick, has been for 2 years now, Connor Bedard, center for the Regina Pats. He was the first ever exceptional status player in the WHL, which allowed him to join the league at 15 years old, giving him an extra year to play at the CHL level. Unfortunately, most of his rookie season was cut away due to COVID. They played a shortened year. They didn't get to play as much. He was traveling all over for whatever tournament he could get into to show off his talents. But the past 2 years have been spectacular for this kid. He scored 143 points in 57 games just this year. I don't remember if he was injured for a minute or if he missed those games due to the Helsinki-Gretzky Cup and the World Juniors. And speaking of the World Juniors, he had 23 points in just 7 or 8 games for the World Juniors. He is an NHL-ready player. He's going to go first overall. He's going to the Blackhawks unless for some reason they make some sort of stupid deal to trade away that pick. But he is going to be a fantastic player for years to come. He is on the smaller side, but he is stronger than what his size would suggest at 5'9" and 185 pounds. That's just based off of Elite Prospects website. He could be bulking up a little bit before the draft. But I think he had 14 pull-ups on the pull-up bar at the NHL Combine, which might not sound very impressive. But I think Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews during their NHL combines had less than 10. So this kid's pretty strong. He's going to need to get a little bit bigger, especially with his height. Could grow a little bit taller. I don't know how much, though. But his ability to read the plays and make the decision on whether to shoot or pass and get around players and deceive them with little moves and just thinking 3 steps ahead, he's going to be so much fun to watch at the NHL level. Kind of stinks it's with the Blackhawks given their recent track record and everything that's gone on with that organization. And he's going to be going to a team that has lost a ton of star talent in history, but he's going to be the next face of the franchise. So hopefully, wish the best for him as he joins the team. But man, I was so happy to get those returns back. He was a fantastic signer. I don't see that continuing after the draft, but very, very cool to have these. So let me know what you guys think. Where do you think these guys are going to go? Do you have any prospects that you've collected from the NHL this year or any other sport? I would love to hear about it. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Best luck with your guys' collecting. Take care.